video, we're going to be doing the bouncy egg experiment. So you're going to want to have some vinegar and an egg. Be careful to slowly put the egg into the bottom of the cup, not drop it from a height like here, or else it can make crack. So in this experiment, what we're going to do is we're going to try to make this egg turn like bouncy, so where it'll go like a bouncy ball. And we're going to be using vinegar to make it bouncy.
And I'm going to be putting color and he's not going to be putting color.
Yes. So
it should be covering the egg.
Yeah. Let's add the vinegar in a dance cup. Okay, that's enough.
And I'm going to be putting color for mine. So I put color for mine.
And I didn't put color for this. So now we're gonna wait for 2 to 3 days and see what happens to our egg. Okay, so now let's observe our eggs. I can see bubbles around the whole egg.
I can see bubbles in mine, but I think there's more bubbles in Terrence than mine.
Because we held the egg in the water, in the vinegar, more longer than Don'ts. Basically, the bubbles that are surrounding around the egg is carbon dioxide gas. The carbon dioxide is created when the vinegar and the eggshell create a reaction with each other. After waiting for 2 to 3 days, we'll talk about the science.
You can see the bubbles in mine.
Okay, so it's been 3 days, and let's make some observations about our egg. So we can see over here that on top of the water, the shell is completely dissolved. And the bubbles that are wrapping around the egg is the carbon dioxide or CO2. It also has the exact same thing, but this time it's with the turquoise color. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove the egg and we're gonna wash it in this water over here.
So make sure to put the glass close to the bowl so the vinegar does not leak.
This is very flexible.
But mine is slipping. What is this?
Can you pull it?
But then look at this.
Bruh. I'm gonna
So
take mine out with a
squishy.
spoon because apparently you've been unsuccessful many times. Okay, this is very flexible. It's very
Oh my God,
flexible. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna wash it now and remove all this outer shell. Okay. Alright, so this is the egg after it's cleaned. You can see the center of the egg where all the yolk is translucent except for Don's
Because mine is blue color,
yeah,
so
we put food coloring, so for his it won't be, but for mine it is. So now let's look at the scientific reasoning behind it. So let's see. We started off with a normal egg in the beginning, and what happened is we put vinegar in the cup along with the egg, and we let it sit for 3 days. What happened is the vinegar, it performed osmosis. If you don't know what that is, osmosis is basically something like diffusion. Basically, it's able to go through the egg cell membrane, and what happens is that it mixes with the cell, and the membrane is becoming rubbery, hence making this rubbery too. Because of that, it turned into a translucent egg without the shell.
see, I'm pointing at the flashlight and you see at the other side, right there.
And yours might be hard to see, but let's try mine. Yeah, the outside is translucent, while the inside we can see yolk.
So mine's also glowing in the outer part, but inside it's a yolk.
Let's move this and see if it can bounce. So let's drop it from here.
Wow, but if we drop it too high, it will break. And then outside, we'll drop it high.
So it's able to bounce, hence the name bouncing egg.
Now I can become a basketball player.
Now, we were bouncing it inside, but you might be wondering, hey, how about I drop it from a high place? But actually it won't work because then this whole thing will crack. So, of course, this...
Okay, you do it first.
All right?
Okay, I'll do it.
No. I'll do the honors first. As you can see, so we know that in a regular egg, the yolk is always a liquid, so that's not a surprise. But how come the membrane, the white part of the egg, how come it's not a liquid and it's a solid? Let's look at it through the scientific reason. The egg was covered with vinegar, what happened is when the vinegar touched the egg's shell, there was a chemical reaction. This chemical reaction released CO2, and because of that, the shell started to dissolve. After the shell was dissolved, instead of the membrane becoming a liquid, what happened is the vinegar passed through the semi-permeable membrane. Semi-permeable means that in some places vinegar may not be able to pass into the cell membrane, but other places they may be able to pass. So what happened is, through the process of osmosis, the vinegar, it passed through the cell's membrane. It made this outer cell made it rubbery, hence making it solid. And that's why we were able to hold the egg through the membrane as a solid instead of a liquid. But when we threw it, the yolk that was still inside and untouched became a liquid, and the membrane exploded.